Today we're going to be looking at Arctic Fox in the color Periwinkle. This is a redo video, so if you feel like you've seen this before, this is new. I wanted to redo some of my older videos to see if the colors turn out any different and just have something more updated. So my swatches are labeled 1 through 12, but that is not synonymous with hair levels. I'll do different video clips and pictures and such near the end of the video, so the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. 1 is pink. I just kind of wanted to see how the Periwinkle would do over a pink. 2 is gray. 3 is a natural red. 4 is a soft black. So 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde. And then 12 is like a toned version of number 11. These are human hair swatches, but they are not virgin hair. They've all been chemically colored or treated or bleached at some point in their existence. I'll take the dye directly from the container and I will apply it to the top of each swatch. Then some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I'll do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. Please keep in mind everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take color differently. Plus different screens and monitors and such can make colors look different. So please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly turn out for you.
Sleep again and wake up alone on the floor. 'Cause I feel haunted in my bedroom. The floorboards in the next room will keep me warm. 'Cause you ought to know nothing about you makes me nervous. I feel right at home. 'Cause you ought to know nothing about you makes me anxious. I never feel alone. I never feel alone.
For the diluted section, we're going to do a 1 to 2 ratio. So that's going to be 1 part of Periwinkle to 2 parts diluter. If you're not sure what diluter is, I always just give the simple answer that it is basically something that lightens the color of a semi-permanent dye. Usually each brand will sell their own version of a diluter if that makes you feel more comfortable. But to keep things more consistent between videos, I just use a plain white conditioner for diluting.
Not for now. 'Cause you ought to know nothing about you makes me nervous. I feel right at home. 'Cause you
Alright, I'm going to let this sit for about 3 hours so it can really absorb the color. I will then rinse them out, and when they're dry, I will meet you back here and we'll do some comparisons. Alright, so I can already tell you that this turned out much better than the first time I did this color. Now I can see it starting on number 5, but because it is pastel and the way that it even looks on the blonde swatch, I would still say to try and have as light of hair as possible when using this color, unless maybe your goal is to tone your hair. I mentioned earlier that these are not virgin hair swatches, so they are going to be able to take color a little bit better than virgin hair would. And even if your virgin hair does take the color, oftentimes it won't hold on to it if it's too dark. So always do a strand test. It honestly looks the best on 2 and 12. I think having as cool of hair as possible is also going to give really great results. I think the color on 10 and 11 is really pretty, but it kind of seemed like the dye struggled a little bit to color some portions of the blonde, and I think that has something to do with the warmth of the hair beforehand, because I don't really see that happening as much on the 12 and 2 that were really cool toned beforehand. I also kind of recommend that same advice for diluting it as well. I will say that on the number 9 swatch, even kind of the number 8, it did take out some of the warmth without leaving it looking too blue. So like I said, you might be able to use this as some type of toner, but definitely do a strand test. So really quickly, I wanted to show the old Periwinkle that I did long ago. This is going to be comparable to number 12. And this is comparable to number 11. So you can see now why I really wanted to redo the Periwinkle and try over again. The diluted section for my new ones look a lot like the direct dye from the old ones. So the tone kind of stayed the same. They're both relatively cool toned blues, but it really did not take that well to my old swatches. Could have been an error on my part for sure, but I've also heard of people really struggling with pastel colors. So just a warning, if your hair is hair that tends to struggle to take color, especially lighter colors, it could turn out more like the diluted section versus the direct dye section. So this is quite a cool toned light blue color, and it's a little bit more unique to my collection. A lot of my light blues are a little bit more warmed toned, so they have just a touch more green in them, like even if they're cool toned. So the first comparison I actually wanted to do, because I thought it might be helpful for some people, is I wanted to compare this to Arctic Fox in the color Poseidon. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. So on my older swatches, I used to do 2 separate diluted parts, so it was diluted here and then here again. That is why they look like that. I would say Poseidon on its own does lean a little bit more cool toned compared to some blue, but you can see next to Periwinkle that it is a little bit darker and a lot more warm in comparison. Periwinkle is very Periwinkle. I have also noticed that cool toned colors, especially like cool toned blues and purples, especially when they're lighter, do also have a harder time taking to hair. So usually the more warmth a color has, at least I've noticed, seems to take a little bit better, which might be some information that could help somebody who has hair that is a little bit more resistant. Maybe trying a color that is slightly more warm might get you a better result. My other comparison I wanted to do was Lunar Tides in the color Periwinkle. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. So looking at the Lunar Tides collection, the Periwinkle is quite cool toned within their line of colors, but compared to Arctic Fox, the Lunar Tides one is actually a little bit more warm, and you can especially see that on the number 10 swatch. But interestingly enough, for some reason, the tides turned a little bit purple on the diluted section on one half of it. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So it's still quite cool toned. And like I was saying with the last comparison, because this one is just a touch more warm, it might have a better chance at sitting in someone's hair, especially because it does look a little bit darker as well. I'm really just trying to give advice for anyone who has struggled with the Arctic Fox Periwinkle, because I know how frustrating that can be. But I will say there are definitely people who say that Periwinkle works very, very well in their hair as well, so it could just be a matter of hair type. But in my collection, the Lunar Tides Periwinkle is just a drop more warm than the Arctic Fox Periwinkle. Alright, so now I'd like to get into the before and after clips. Those, as well as anything you see past this point in the video, will all be done in natural lighting. Since I am using natural lighting, that does mean the lighting environment between different days can change. So if the before and after clips look kind of different from each other, that is why.
I think I'm gonna go to sleep again and wake up alone on the floor. 'Cause I feel haunted in my bedroom, the floorboards in the next room will keep me warm. think I overstayed my welcome, but I think you want me to stick around, to bring you coffee or a cigarette. I don't think we're done yet, not for now. 'Cause you ought to know, nothing about you makes me nervous. I feel right at home. 'Cause you ought to know, nothing about you makes me anxious. I never feel alone. I never feel alone.
I hope my video helped. If you have a request, like you maybe want me to do another redo of an old video or a new color you haven't seen on my channel before, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do brands that do not test on animals. Thank you so very much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.